shanties at the edge of town were known to eat all manner of meat. Rat meat, crow meat, cat meat, dog meat. They'd likely look upon Parthenia as a tasty supper indeed. Still, that cantankerous goat would escape. She could gnaw through any rope. She could jump atop her shed and vault across the fence. She could lean against the slats and knock them flat. If she purely wanted out, we couldn't hold her. Just slow her down. It was my job to find her and fetch her home before the tide came in. This day I'm telling of was a Saturday early in March, 2 years ago, when I was 13. Parthenia had tucked into Mrs. Overmeyer's primroses, and that lady was none too pleased. "Eliza Jane McCulley," she said when I came upon the scene, "you get that goat out of my garden, do you hear me? Shoo! Goat, shoo! Oh, my primroses! My poor, poor primroses!" It took some doing to cultivate primroses so near the Pacific Ocean, with the constant salty wind and the sandy soil. Primroses, and other flowers, were a luxury and purely cherished by folks who grew them. I tied a rope around Parthenia's neck, and we played tug-of-war for a spell, until she clapped eyes on the violets by the hospital and made a beeline in that direction. I managed to steer her away toward the bluff above the isthmus. "Folks get contentious with you laying into their flowers," I told her. "Haven't you noticed? Haven't you wondered why all the conniptions when you're about?" Parthenia bleated mournfully, looked back at me with great, round, sorrowful eyes. She was misunderstood, she seemed to say. She was only hungry. I first caught sight of Wah Chung when we reached the edge of the bluff. I didn't know yet he was called Wah Chung. I didn't know a blessed thing about him, save that he was squatting beside some rocks on the path to our island, his long pigtail hanging down his back beneath a wide, flat straw hat. A Chinaman. Seemed like he was writing something, or drawing, maybe. I stood there a tick, not knowing what to do. I was forbidden to mill about the China shanties, as some children did, buying lychee nuts and ginger candies. Heathen things, Papa called them. So I stayed away. I was forbidden even to speak to a Chinaman. "If you see one coming toward you," Papa said, "step away, and don't look at him. If you meet their eyes, they might try to converse with you. Best have nothing to do with them." But the tide was on the uprise that afternoon. It had already swallowed up most of the isthmus, and the thin, foamy edges of waves washed across the narrow way that remained. I couldn't get home without passing quite near to this Chinaman, and I dared not wait for him to leave. If it hadn't been for Parthenia, I might have turned back. The Wiltons let me stay with them whenever it was needful. When I became stranded on the mainland unexpectedly, or when, because of the tides, I had to leave for school early or turn homeward late, Mrs. Wilton had devised a signal to show that I was safely settled at their house. A yellow banner hung above their front porch and visible from the island. But the invitation did not include Parthenia. And besides, I didn't hanker for more doings with gardeners on a rampage. I hurried along the steep path down the bluff. The brisk, sea-smelling wind whipped at my skirts and coat. It was a clear day, rare this time of year. High, thin clouds raced shoreward across a forever sky. Gulls wheeled and cried overhead. Parthenia, at once seeming eager to be home, minced along before me, her udder bulging, flapping side to side. As we picked our way through the heaps of driftwood, I saw the Chinaman glance toward us and away. He rose partway to his feet, seemed to think better of it, then squatted back on his heels and stared hard into the tide pool. It came to mind that he might wish to be shut of me as fervently as I wished to avoid him, but I had cut off his avenue of retreat. Drawing near, I saw that he was holding a paintbrush and a sheet of paper tacked to a board. An ink jar sat on a rock beside him. A wave lapped over his bare feet and wet the legs of his baggy denim trousers, but he did not try to escape it by moving into our path. He sat like a stone. When we had nearly come abreast, Parthenia gave a quick, hard lurch in the Chinaman's direction and tried to bite his hat. I yanked her away.